Welcome to my latest episode about the secrets of tackling tournament poker in Las Vegas in the summer. I know a lot of you are really excited about the World Series of Poker, but let's get into the details of all the options that you have on the table. My name is Miles Barnum, Everyday Winning Miles here. Like and subscribe to my channel. We bring a lot of content from poker cash games to vlogged cash games, tournaments, WSOP coverage. I'm trying to bring to you as many stories as I can and find the wonderful people out in the world that love poker and bring some new people in as well. So right now I really want to help you to be able to tackle the World Series of Poker as you're coming out here this year. So first of all, we have the Mystery Millions tournament, which I'm going to focus on first. And what I'd like to say about that, and I will really give you my insight about what I like to play and why. The Mystery Millions is one that I definitely want to fire a few bullets at. And my goal is to get to the World Series kind of towards the end of the month so that I can fire that. But I'm not going to fire a ton of bullets because a few reasons. One, the price point is a little lower than I would like it to be as far as for this big of a field. So that means you're going to have a lot more people, and the rake, which is important to pay attention to, is a higher percentage the lower the buy-in is. As the buy-in gets higher, less money is going towards the house. So this is the World Series of Poker at Paris and at Horseshoe. So I like to fire my shot. My buddy DJ Buckley won the $1 million that he pulled a few years back. So it is possible. And my friend Mike Wicklow from Minnesota, he won the Mystery Millions last year, the actual tournament. So you want to fire your shots, but also you don't want to go broke doing it because the structure is fast and there's a lot of crazy play. Right around the corner from the Mystery Millions is the $600 deep stack. Now I want to give you some insight into that tournament. It is not a deep stack. The blinds are 30-minute blinds, and they give you a lot of chips to give the impression of it being a deep stack, but it is not. It's a 2-day tournament, and it's a challenge with the structure. However, my friend Rob Wazwaz from Minnesota a few years back, he won the first $600 deep stack and then talked his good traveling buddy Rich Alsop into playing the last one after Rich had a difficult summer up to that point, and he shipped that bracelet as well. Amazing story of these great players from Minnesota. So that's the start of the World Series. Just know that, these are higher variance tournaments. At the same time, just down the road, we've got tournaments where the Venetian and the Wynn are getting going with their summer series. You've got things like $600 buy-in dailies. You've got $1,100 big guaranteed tournaments. And if you want to have a chance to win a tournament, I highly recommend going to some of these other properties because navigating through fields of 10, 15, 20,000 people at the World Series of Poker is pretty challenging. So if you want to go over to the Venetian, play there 600s, 800s, and there's some really great guarantees that we'll get into as well. Now, before we delve too deeply into the Wynn and the Venetian, let's talk about some other options. One that I wasn't aware of as much until this year is the South Point. Now, the South Point is running something that's very interesting this summer. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they are running qualifying flights for a $300,000 guarantee. So every week they're going to have a guarantee and they're going to run 6 flights. So 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Wednesday, and then they will have their combined flight, the restart, on Thursdays, 2:30 p.m. And that's the $300,000 guarantee. It's one I want to recommend. They're going to get great fields. You're going to get a mix of recreational players and strong players. Very good chance. On that same token, the Orleans runs an incredible Sunday tournament. They're going to get 600-700 people. Wonderful place to go play tournaments. I've had numerous friends that have gone there and had some serious success at the Orleans. So consider that as an option. Wonderful. Now let's get to some of our other options. Don't forget about the Aria, which also has tournaments. Very classy place, beautiful place to play cash games. and their price points are right in the middle, right in that kind of affordable spot. 300, 600, 800. They also have a $1,100 mystery bounty, so that's another one to consider there with Aria. And I'm kind of just giving you like the first week and a half, 2 weeks to kind of get you settled into Vegas and have all these different options. The next one I want to talk about is the Golden Nugget. In the past, they've had bigger guarantees and bigger fields. That is not the case this year. Their price points are a little bit lower. They don't have the big guarantees for the no limit. You're looking at 200s, 150s, but they are running some mixed games for a little bit higher price point if you like that. There's a $500 horse, there's a $400 PLO, and there's also a stud 8 and an Omaha 8, which would be a really fun tournament to play. I would enjoy that a lot. Last but not least, for sure, is the MGM Grand. MGM Grand is running numerous series where you'll run multiple flights with a second day combined. The 3rd through the 5th, they're running a $400 event. You can fire multiple times, come into a day 2. I have played the MGM Grand on multiple occasions and had some deep runs and day 2 runs. On the 6th through the 9th, they're running another tournament. It's got some kind of a mystery envelope thing on day 2. I think I played it a few years back, but that price point is $500. So if you like that $400-$500 price range, you've got the MGM Grand to check out. I want to pivot back to the World Series for a minute and talk about my favorite tournament, which is the Monster Stack. I've had some great runs in the Monster Stack in the past and nearly cracked the top 100 out of 8,000 players, 50,000 starting chips, 1 hour levels, great tournament. This year, they're running 4 starting days. That's right, A, B, C, D. And not only can you play 4 starting days, but you can also register for your first day on the second day. And the way they'll run it, they'll run concurrently. Day 1, then you'll play into day 2, and then you have the option of playing day 1B, and your second day will be the following day, the subsequent day. So just know that if you play one day, your day 2 will be the following day. And then everybody will come back together and play on Monday in a collective day 3. So that's how the Monster Stack is going to go. It's going differently this year. You should know that. There's another tournament that I like to recommend. I have some past experience with this one, and that's the $600 No Limit PLO Mix Tournament, which used to be towards the end of the series and now is in the beginning. And that one is a great tournament because you don't always have strong PLO players, and you have a lot of Hold'em players that will play that. And then let's get a little bit into kind of my thought with all these tournaments. Now that I've given you all of your options, I'm going to give you Miles Barnum's approach to the World Series. And I did tell you before that I'm going to give you A, B, and C plan. So A is where we're getting started, and we're starting going down the A road. B is where we start going into the higher buy-ins and we're taking big shots. That means A has gone well. C is where we go down and take smaller shots, and we're going to play smaller buy-in tournaments. And I'll go back to these tournaments and kind of give you a sense of what I'm doing. So like I said, when I get to the World Series, I'm going to start out with the Mystery Millions, fire a few bullets there, most likely play the $600 deep stack. Now we're looking at, medium level price points, hopefully get a score in one of those. And then I'm going to target the Monster Stack pretty hard. Before I do that, I definitely want to do another warm-up with the Venetian, a 600 and 800, maybe a bounty. Those are great events, and I'd love to tackle one of those as well. So that leads me into the Monster Stack, which, like I said, is a tournament that I love. And I will play it as many days as possible. And I will fire, hopefully make day 2s. And ideally, you just go right into making a day 3. But certainly, I'll be willing to fire multiple bullets at that one. And then, like I said, going forward, I really do like the $600 No Limit and PLO mixed, which that will be that's me going down the C route. We haven't banked anything big. We're still kind of grinding a little bit. a few shots that I could take if we're in the B route, which is doing quite well, is the $1,500 limit tournament, which I love playing limit. That's kind of how I got my start in poker, and the $2,000 no limit. Now let me just explain something to you. These no limit tournaments are very difficult, above the $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 price point. There's a $1,700 Players Championship as well, Circuit Championship. These tournaments are going to be a little bit on the tougher side because the price point's a little bit higher, and you'll get more of the Euro pros, the grinders, the American like circuit grinders, and some tough players. So fast forward to the Colossus, which will be around the 10th through the 13th. I'm not very interested in that tournament, and here's why. The Colossus and the Gladiator and these giant field tournaments, it's just so hard to crack, the top 20, 50 even. I mean, last year I had an insane run in the Gladiator and finished around 200th out of 24,000 people. So I had a huge return on my investment. I want to say it was a $300 buy-in. I cashed for maybe $3,500, but it was a lot of work. And then I had another one, which is a better structured tournament, which is a $600 Poker News deep stack, which was actually a deep stack. And I got, I believe, 58th out of 5,800. I liked that tournament. It was a little bit slower, and I digress. Those are some of the tournaments that I played last year. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because the Colossus is a tournament that is a, censor myself, a blank show. It's a lot of players gambling. You need a bunch of chips. And it's a tournament that I try to avoid if I can find something else, especially that's a little bit more expensive. So I will be looking at some of the Wynn and Venetian $1,100 and $1,600 tournaments, but a lot of it just depends on what's going on over at the World Series and where I'm at bankroll-wise as far as taking shots. Now, if the first week or so goes really poorly, you may see me over at the Orleans grinding that Sunday tournament, or over at South Point grinding that $300 multi-flight event. So, like I said, I'm not above going down in stakes if I need to, but certainly we want to take shots, but we want to survive. And for me, be able to make it through the entire World Series, that's the goal. And people ask, are you going to play the main? And I say, well, it kind of depends on how things go. So as far as the Aria goes, I don't think it's going to work for me to play the Aria or the Golden Nugget or the MGM this year. My schedule is looking pretty tonned up on these other places, but you never know. There may be a day where I don't make it day two. I want to shoot over to MGM and play one of those. Or if I could play that $500 stud high-low and Omaha high-low, I do really enjoy those games a lot, and that's a good price point. And the $1,100 mystery bounty at the Aria is an attractive one. So I hope I've given you a really good sense of what some of your options are in playing tournaments at the World Series of Poker. I want to recommend that if you're a strong cash game player, another thing you can do is you can supplement your tournament buy-ins by playing cash games if you're not having the most luck in tournaments. And one other little tip, don't go right into a cash game right after you bust a tournament unless you have the ability to immediately reset. If you have issues with gambling, you're much better off going into a cash game than going on the floor, whatever you're going to do with blackjack or craps or slot machines. But that is my advice on the practical side of taking on tournaments. Oh, one other thing. They do have the daily tournaments at the World Series that are $250 buy-in and $400 buy-in. The $250 buy-in is a slower structure, starts early in the day. But just know that these tournaments will get fast towards the end. So that's my take on the World Series. Hopefully I'm hitting a score early so I can take bigger shots. But either way, I'm just going to try to keep my head about me, and I'm going to be moving all over town. We could get into a whole other vlog about the value of where we're staying and how we're getting some of these rates. But I'll just give you a quick abridged version. I'm going to be starting out at an Airbnb, which is where I'm settled in now. Also staying at Paris for a few nights. I will be doing one night at Resorts World. I could do this pretty quick. one night at Caesars, back over to Paris, and then Resorts World for another 3 nights. I love Resorts World. And then eventually I'll land between Paris, Horseshoe, Link. These are all Caesars properties. Back over to resorts, and even some stops over at the Rio. Now I'm finding offers, I'm finding discounted rooms, and it's challenging because now I have to take all of my stuff with me and my guitar and all this other stuff and take it with me from hotel to hotel. But as far as the vlogging goes, it'll give you guys a lot of different viewpoints of going in and out and the hustle and bustle of that. And oh, one other little pro tip. Over at the Horseshoe, there is a gentleman, I believe his name is Fernando. You could probably find from the bell desk. He does laundry and his crew does laundry. You bring it down to them at the bell desk at Horseshoe. He comes and meets you. And not only does he do your laundry for you for roughly, I think it's $35, $40, but it comes back folded and then you're ready to rock and roll. So that's another a nice little tip. So that's my guide to taking on the tournaments at the World Series of Poker. Keep your options open. Try some of these other places. You're going to see all kinds of different players. And don't forget to take your shots at the World Series of Poker as well. Take care, guys. Good luck this summer and everyday winning.